What up, ladies and gentlemen, boys? Oh, there go my man. My man's right here. Okay. My man is right here. So
Are you already live?
my man is already here. So
Come on, man. You couldn't wait 1 minute?
I thought you I thought I was I thought I was gonna have to get running because my man was
I said I'm going to be right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what I said.
He did say that, ladies and gentlemen. He did say he was gonna be right here, but I wasn't sure what right there exactly meant.
Come on. Now I got to do this real quick. I'm just playing. Why am I not going to do that?
Oh,
you know what I was waiting for? I was waiting for Fluent Jr. Yo, Fluent Jr. Yeah. Come here, little homie. Come here, little homie. You can open that. Open the door. We gotta do two things real quick because you have to bring me this.
What that is?
Y'all don't know what that is. That cleans the camera lens because it was a little dirty. I believe you need to go get something and come back. See, because we when we say we're going to do something, at least where I'm from, our word is bond, right? We don't say, "Hey, yo, I'm going to do this," and then 2-3 days later. When someone says, "Hey, you said you're going to do this," we go, "Oh yeah, I know I said that, but I didn't do it."
No,
not calling out anybody at Player's Choice, but you know who you are.
That's not the way that works.
That's not the way real men handle business.
That's not the way that works.
That being said, you remember, was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
I think it was last week.
Was it last? Wow,
yeah, I think it was last week.
So last week we challenged Fluent Jr. to name the 12 NBA players that won 2 or more Finals MVP. And he didn't get
8 of them. He didn't get 9 of them. He got every last one of them. Knocked it down like a 22-footer wide open. Yes, he did. He kind of struggled on the last one, but
the last one was tough.
He might have struggled a little bit on the last one, but he had it down. We didn't say anything, and he knocked it down.
And as you remember, let me take these off so he can hear you as well. So for those that don't remember, he got to pick any of the players from that list of 12. And at the time, he said he wanted Kareem.
Yes, he did.
And so we set out to find a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar jersey.
Yep.
However, as we were searching, he came across this jersey, and he said, this particular jersey is on the list of those 12 players. He's one of my favorite players all time, and it's my favorite jersey. Like the you know how each team has this, their home, their away, but then they have classic jerseys. This is my favorite jersey. So you're going to appreciate this one. You're going to appreciate this one. Hold it up. Turn it around.
The powder blue diesel.
That's the diesel.
Like it. The powder blue diesel. Yes, sir.
So not only does he know his stuff, he knows his jerseys too, because that jersey is fire.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you bringing
it sir.
The
powder blue Laker jersey. I like it. Nice.
He's got good taste, man. He's got good taste.
Yes. So, where does he get that from, Tone? Since we're on that subject, where
he gets that from his mama. Let's be honest. he gets that from Mrs. Fluent.
You don't get it from me. No.
I get it from Mrs. Fluent too. I'm like, what do you think of this? So yeah, but no, but he we went to where we go, and there was there's a lot of, and he's like, and I said Kareem, and they're like, we have no Kareem, but we can get it for you. And I said, okay, no problem. I said, which Kareem do you want? And as he was looking around, he goes, oh no. He goes, what's behind that? And they had the yellow O'Neal jersey, but in behind it, he saw some blue. He goes, what's that one? So we moved the yellow one out of the way. And he was like, oh, I want that. And I'm like, all right, you're not going to name for me. So because that is my second favorite jersey, next to the light blue Minneapolis Lakers, where it just has the MLPS. That was my favorite one, but that one is that one is a very, very close second. Yeah. So we held true to our word. He won. He got his jersey. So everybody's happy, man. How you been this week?
Hey, running good, Tone. Running good, man. We got the Olympics going on. Basketball season is still in effect, as you know. I found out that my niece is a baller. I mean, I knew she could play, but like my niece is a baller for real. And like I went to go see her not too long ago, and first of all, her nickname is Bean, and I call her Bean because she's a beanpole, Tone. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Not because of Bean, but because she's a beanpole.
And rest in peace to Jelly Bean. We should. Kobe's dad, 69, just passed. But so you don't name her Bean because of Jelly Bean or because of Bean Bryant.
No, she's a beanpole.
She's a beanpole.
Yeah, she's 100% a beanpole. No doubt about it. Tone. She's a beanpole. So, but she's a baller. And we were at the house. My brother's got a hoop out back, and we'll go out there and shoot from time to time. But she's growing like a weed, and that jump shot is just getting better, and it's just getting better and better. And she asks me, Uncle Jermaine, can you show me some stuff? I get real nervous about stuff like that, Tone. And the reason why is because I don't want to push that on any of my nieces, my niece. I don't want to push that on her. I never wanted to push that on my daughter. But like when she asks me, I'll show her stuff. And then next thing I know, like she wants more. She wants to know more stuff. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I got to show her. I can't just not. I can't just not do it. But this kid's got some talent, man. She's good, Tone. She's good. It's obvious that it runs in the family.
I was gonna say it's got to be something in the genetics.
Yeah, it runs in the family. So she don't get it from my brother. I can tell you that. She gets it. He was a different type of dude. He wasn't an athlete. So she probably gets it from my grandmother. So that's where she gets it from.
So it skipped a generation?
Yeah, she probably gets it from her grandmother because her grandmother was a volleyball player. So that's where those hops, that's where I got it from. So
you got her hops from her grandmother?
That's where I got it from. So
okay. You had hops? I thought you were a post player.
No, I was not a post player. No. I could play in the post, but I was not a post player.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a difference there. Those
two things are not the same. I could play in the post, but I was not a post player. No, I played on the wing. I was a 2-guard. So that was my game. So yeah, Tone, running good, man. Running good. We in the midst.
There's so much going. I'm hesitant. The reason you're like Tone, man, you're probably thinking, why aren't you your regular self? One, as you can see, I had a little golf tournament.
Living La Vida Loca, my boy Tony Tone.
and I'm a little fried. And then I had I was in the car. I was driving for 5 hours today because I wanted to get back in time to do this. And then I'm looking at the list of stuff that's been going on. I'm like, man, I don't even know where to start. But I kind of do know where to start because I want to start where we have on our thumbnail with USA, who squeaked by Australia.
They did.
And I feel like every time I say something positive about this team, it blows up in my face, right? I was like, man, Kawhi Leonard's looking good. He's looked like he's lost some weight. He's in shape. The next day, literally the next day, he's out. Then I say, this roster is constructed that I think this might be the best Team USA, like dream team, men's basketball team we've ever seen. They beat Australia by 6.
They're in a dogfight with Australia.
And listen, I get it. Australia is good in international play, but against this team, that should still be a 30-point blowout. They should do what they did to Great Britain today, or right? Well,
they play Serbia tomorrow, and with them playing Serbia, that's what I'm saying. So there was a lot of takeaways from that, Tone. And if you think about what the Dream Team did in '92, Okay, that was the first time that the world had been exposed to that kind of talent collectively, right? That was the first time. Like we had seen, we had seen like the Celtics come over. We had seen the Denver Nuggets come over because there was tournaments in the past, but that collection of talent, the world had not been exposed to that. You fast forward years later, the world has actually been exposed to that sort of stuff, right? So now with the world being exposed to that sort of stuff, they're more prepared. That Australian team, hey, Tone, let me tell you something, man. You want to talk about action? You want to talk about ball movement, people moving? That was awesome watching that. And when you get a collection of guys like Team USA, who you basically just put together, as opposed to Team Australia, as opposed to that Spanish team, as opposed to that French team, where they've been together for a while. So with them being together for a while, the communication is different. The ball movement is different. The continuity is different. All of that stuff is different. With Team USA, we got a bunch of guys who haven't played together for an extended period of time. So the communication is going to be off. Our transition defense isn't as good. Anthony Davis, the dominant rim protector, the rebounder that he is, he's going to be that for stretches. But when you have a team like Australia that's going to play like that the entire game, you're going to have mishaps. You're going to have turnovers like we had with Team USA because we haven't been together for as long as we've been together, for as long as those other teams have been together. Does that to say that we still can't win? I 100% think that Team USA is going to win the gold. I don't think that at all. What I do think, Tone, is I do think that Australia team can win a medal. Just watching them play, watching how good they are as a unit, excuse me, I do think that they could win a medal because how hard they play. Guys like what is the guy's name that plays for Phoenix? Lendell. Tone, if you never watched him in the NBA, you watched him, you would think this guy is awesome.
There are quite a few guys who are mid-level, sometimes lower than mid-level NBA players, but when they get into that international setting, because people forget the rules are different.
Way different.
The rules are different. So you get into that international play, you know that it's a short period of time. There's some I feel like other players from other countries take more pride in playing for their country than US players as a whole. I'm not saying that of everybody. I'm sure there's some that do, but as a whole. And I feel like they take their game up another notch. But, in comparing them to, because you compared it to 92, and listen, the international game it was good. Don't get me. It was good in 92, but it was nowhere near where it is now. You didn't have 4 out of the top 5 players in the NBA coming from another country like you do now, or arguably whatever the number is, 4 of 6, 4 of 8, whatever argument you want to make, that many. You still had great international players. You did absolutely have teams that played together more, but the talent wasn't like it is today. The 92 team, though, went over there with the mindset of destroying everybody, right? Especially, Charles Barkley, one in particular, who's like, up 60, I'm elbowing the Angolan player in the skull, and like,
Charles, what are you doing, B? Relax.
Hey, they were out to prove a point. Whereas this team, what scares me about this team, and like I said, before you go jump down my throat, I said this. I felt this team has the potential to be the greatest men's basketball team ever assembled. Okay, you have to win to do that, though. You have to win to do that. You can't lose. You can't come home with a bronze and get that title, right? Just like the 73 win Warriors cannot be considered the greatest team of all time because they didn't win it all. So if they come home with a bronze, that goes with it. But they have the potential to be that. They have the potential to be that.
Right.
The only thing that I think stopping them is who's going to be that person that says, like 92, it was Charles Barkley. Because let's be honest, Jordan was out playing, 72 rounds of golf. Bird had a broken back. Magic was dealing with some news. Everybody had distractions. Chuck was the one who said, "Hey."
He took it the most serious. Yes, he did.
In 08, I want to say, right? Kobe running through Powell's chest. He's like, we are not losing, right? Whether argue all you want who was the best player on that team, he was the one that set the tone for that team. Who's going to be that player? Because what I see is a team that is talented with like no compare. Like their last guy could start on any other team in any other country, right? Their last player. But I also see them, in their huddles laughing and joking and yo, KD, shoot up a three. Yeah. Like they're not taking it seriously. And there will be a team, a Serbia, a whatever, who they're taking it seriously. Trust me, that is going to be a feather in their cap. I know guys in Greece who are still talking about, hey, when we beat the USA, you remember? Like that was their everything.
Yeah,
that's a horrible Greek accent. I know. I should be ashamed of myself.
Which is crazy because he's Greek, by the way, guys. Just so y'all know.
Can't do. But anyway, I'm not allowed to do accents anymore. I get in trouble.
Unbelievable, because
even when I do, that's the only.
You think it'd be more fluent.
I hear my dad's who still can't speak English. You think I have it down? I don't have the Greek accent down. And so there's going to be a team that's going to surprise them. And when guys listen, and I'm only going to call you out because you said this, right? The 92 team lost to a bunch of college guys. They will be fine. Guys, no, right? Let's not ignore what happened. Did they lose to the college team? Rumor has it they did. But did they also bench Jordan? Did they also Chuck Daly purposely create a scenario where they would lose? Yes. Why did he do that? Because he was a brilliant coach and he knew that they weren't taking it seriously. And he wanted to prove a point to them that, hey, because what happened the next night? Because Chuck Daly said this, again, rest in peace, Chuck Daly. He said, what happened the next day? Oh, I beat them by 50. I played Jordan a lot more that day. And the intensity went up and we beat them by 50.
Yes,
so
they beat them by 50.
This isn't that, right? This isn't Steve Kerr's head coach. This isn't Steve Kerr going, hey, I'm going to bench LeBron. I'm going to bench KD. I'm going to, I'm benching Steph and I'm going to let them lose a game to wake them up. This is an Australian team who came out ready to play. This is a Canada team who, they went on a run and beat Canada, but it was close. So if they don't pick it up, and then listen, they have the ability to kill everybody.
Right.
But you're right. They've got to play together. They got to figure that out. They got to figure that out.
So two things, Tone. Number one, you just mentioned this. This because what you said about them having the potential, they could lose them all to Serbia. Just off the strength that you just said that. They could very well lose them all to Serbia because that's basically been the theme. That's number one. Number two, from a talent standpoint, there is no other team in the world that from top to bottom, when they lose this, they replace it with that. No other team. No. So when Anthony Edwards comes off the floor, you're replacing Anthony Edwards with Devin Booker. When Anthony Davis comes off the floor, you're replacing him with Bam Adebayo. There's no other team in the world that has that collection of talent that when they lose something, they bring basically almost that same thing back. So they're really not losing much. The difference here is with this crew, there has to be some assertiveness. Who is the guy? Charles Barkley in 92 took this thing extremely serious. We can't lose because we are the staple, right? We are the staple. We are going to be in the future what Team USA is because we had just lost in 88. We had just lost in 88.
Which is why they did this, right? Because it was professional players from everywhere else in the world and amateurs, college kids,
correct,
for USA. And they said, hey, you're going to play.
Correct. So we had just lost in 88. We can't lose again with better players and more talent. That can't happen. Absolutely not. So we have to take this serious. And Charles was the one who basically set the tone. And we ultimately started just throwing guys out there until we ran into a buzzsaw in 2004 with that Argentinian team. And then in 2006 at the FIBA World Championships with that Puerto Rican team and then that Greek team. I mean, it became something completely. I think they lost to Greece in 2004 too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I think they lost to Greece in 2004. But with that being said, the guys, to your point, who have to be more assertive are the younger guys, Anthony Edwards. Because, Tone, what I see from this crew, I see a lot of talking, right? I'm the man or I'm the number. I see that sort of stuff, which is fine. But I also see guys who are looking at these older guys like, I don't know if I really should be the man. I don't really know if I should take that next step. When in reality, we do need a face of Team USA. That's why I'm on record saying Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, Tyrese Halliburton. That should be the core of Team USA moving forward. These are the 5 guys that we need to get
committed. They didn't even put Jaylen Brown on the team.
Right, but and that's who should be on the team in 28 when the Olympics are in Los Angeles. That should be the core of Team USA in the next Olympics. Those are the guys that we need to get a commitment from. That way, there's no misunderstanding about who the guys are. We can build around those guys. I feel like we can build around them, put the necessary pieces around them, and get a guy, as opposed to, we got KD, one of the elder statesmen. We got James, one of the elder statesmen. Curry, one of the elder statesmen. And these young guys are still looking at them like, yeah, I'm not really sure if I should be the guy. Should I step on toes or anything like that? When in reality, you're better than him. You're better than him. You need to start acting like it.
You don't need, in this type of setting, though. That's the struggle I think this team is going to have. Look, I still think they're going to win, but here's the struggle I think they're going to have. I'm going to go down the roster for you because it's not. Charles Barkley wasn't the best player on the Dream Team. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Just leave it at that. But he
could say the same thing with Dwayne Wade wasn't the best player in 2008. He led them in scoring though. So
right. So when I go down this list, here's my issue. Is Bam going to step up and be like, follow my lead? No. Or you answer. Is Bam going to do it?
No.
Is Devin Booker going to do it?
No.
Is Steph Curry going to do it?
I'm too old for that.
I agree. And he's the one where how is it his first time? But anyways, conversation for another. Is Anthony Davis going to do that?
No, he won't even do it on his own team.
My point. Is Kevin Durant going to do it?
I'm too old for that.
And he's never done it. On
top of that, he's in and out of the lineup. I don't even know if he's going to play, to be honest with you, Tony.
Yeah, I think he missed that game, I think, right, against Australia. Anyways, yeah.
Yes,
and Kevin Durant, listen, did he even do it in OKC? Like, was he the guy who said, follow my lead? He was the best player, but did he say, follow my lead? Or did he have guys that were doing it for him, right? And I know in Golden State, he wasn't the leader.
Right. In OKC, he tried to do it.
Okay.
He did try.
That was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. Okay.
10 years ago.
Is Anthony Edwards, does he have enough experience to do it?
I think he wants to do it.
Verbalizing, he's trying to do it, but will people listen?
Right. I think he wants to do it.
I think he wants to.
Yeah, I think he wants to do it. I just don't think he's there yet.
And I agree. You're right. I think he should be a staple of this team that moving forward could do that. Is Joel Embiid going to do it?
No.
Can't do it. Joel Embiid shouldn't even be on the team. Tyrese Halliburton?
No.
Can't do it. Drew Holiday?
Nope.
LeBron James?
I already did that. I'm too old for this.
And let's be honest, the first time he won, someone else did it for him. And now, so he could have done it after that, but I think to your point, he's like, I'm just here to, right? It's my last go around. I'm going to get a chance to play with hopefully KD, Steph. This is fun for him, whether it should be. Okay. Jason Tatum.
He should be the guy.
He should be, but is he the type of guy that does this?
No.
Right? That's the one piece I think he's missing.
Yes.
Right? We keep talking about him taking that next step. It's not game. I think that's his next step if he's going to do this. And he hasn't done. He hasn't done. It doesn't mean he can't. It just means he hasn't.
Right.
Eric White?
No. I'm happy to be here.
So there's the whole roster, and we couldn't come up with one guy who's going to do that. And the one guy that we did is probably too young, so no one's going to listen to it. That's the only issue with this team, because if you look up and down the roster, you've got ball handling, facilitation, shooting, post play, rebounding, defense. Right. You have all the tools to be the greatest team ever assembled. The one thing you're missing is the two guys who should be the leaders in Steph and LeBron are just 40 years old, 38 years old. Like, they're just, maybe they don't want, they're like Larry Bird back then or Magic.
Sure.
Right?
I could get with that. Yeah. But the difference tone, the difference tone is this very well could be a leadership moment for a guy like James or a guy like KD, where very much like what Dwayne Wade did with James, going to Jason Tatum, going to Anthony Edwards. You got to be our guy. You have to be our guy. It has to be you. I'm too old to do this. I've done it long ago. I did it a long time ago. Now this is your time. In order for us to move forward as Team USA, you got to be the guy. And you don't have to back down from that, because you are the future of Team USA. Just like you're the future of the NBA. Just like what's going on in the NBA right now. You are that guy. And you got to embrace that. Don't be afraid of that. I think the problem with James, I think the problem with KD is they still are in a competitive space. So KD's still playing at a high level. James is still playing at a high level. So to almost pass the mantle to those guys it would almost be like conceding to them.
But if it's the I think it's different because it's the Olympic torch, right? Yes. Literally, it's not the NBA torch, because Tyrone's like, well, KD and LeBron are way better than Bird and Magic were at that time. Yes, but it was not about their game. Again, we're talking about leadership, and those two guys could have easily said, we're going to lead this team, and instead they said, no, we're going to take a back seat to them as a leadership perspective. And it was, again, it was Charles Barkley who set the tone for that team. It was Kobe who set that tone for 2008. And your point, as you started to say, KD, Steph, LeBron leadership, I was like, oh no, I started to cringe. And then you said, no, go to a Tatum and say, hey, privately, you need to do this. You need to step up and be this leader, because if I do it, I won't be here. There's no chance. Like LeBron's already said, I'm leaving LA in 4 years. I won't even be in the city to watch the Olympics. Like that's how out I'm going to be. Right? He's going to be 43, 44 years, right. 43 years old. Yeah, he's not playing at 43. So I think you're right. It's go to Tatum, say, hey, this is what we need you to do. Here, listen, you love Kobe, right? Here, go watch the tape. Go watch that Redeem Team documentary and watch the things that he did. Now, granted, that was just in his character. That's who he was. But, unless you're scared that, oh my God, if I give Tatum that power, like you said, well, the Celtics are going to come back next year and we're never going to beat them. So,
which is fine, to be honest with you, Tone, because we are. It's not like you're telling him to be the guy and, you're still in the prime of your career and you don't want him to have an edge on you. Okay, more than likely, Steph, KD. I mean, Steph's still playing at a high level, and I won't argue that. Steph is still playing at a high level. KD is still playing at an all-NBA level. James is still playing at an all-NBA level.
But can I interrupt and say, though, but with respect to my Lakers, and no respect to the Warriors or Suns, those teams aren't winning a chip. They're not even close. Like, they're not close.
They're not. So with that being said,
right? Phoenix got knocked out in the first round.
No, they didn't get knocked out, Tone. They got
swept,
smoked.
Which means, like you say, they're not even close.
Nah.
The Lakers lost in 5, and they're lucky they didn't get swept.
Yes.
And the Warriors didn't even make the playoffs. So they're not even close. So as good as those guys are, unless they're going to team up on the same team, there's no championship in their future.
Even if they did, I mean, we still look at them like older guys. But with saying that, I'm still looking at this dynamic of Jason Tatum. I'm still looking at this dynamic of Anthony Edwards, where these guys can very well be the face of Team USA. It's very much, Tone, right? It's very much like when Jordan and Magic got into it in practice, and Bird made it clear, all right, listen, I know how competitive you are, and I know how much you think you can still play. Yo, this is the guy. It's time to step off, and it's time to hand it over to this guy. And it's okay to do that if this is really the guy. So with that being said, it's okay for James. I don't even think he needs to pull him aside, Tone. I think he needs to do it in front of everybody. Yo, this is our guy. This is the dude we going with.
Does he, or does he need to go at him? Yo, no. We're my team. We're black, you're white. Let's, and like how Jordan and Magic just went at each other.
No, and the reason why, Tone, is because he won't go back after James like that. He won't. See, Jordan looked at James. Jordan looked at Magic
make him go back at you.
And that's what and I got to be honest with you, Tone, I got no problem with that. I'm going to make you fight me. I'm going to make you fight me. You are not just going to roll over. I'm going to make you. I can see him. That's why I'm saying make him in front of everybody. Go, yo, this is our guy. This is our guy.
My fear is he's not, though. That's always been my issue, because you've been pushing me on Tatum for years. Yes. And I keep saying I just don't see that it. all the talent in the world, right?
All there.
He's
All there.
look, he's better than the person I'm about to say. He's better than the name I'm about to say. Let me say it a third time. He is better than the
Yep.
person I'm about to say. But he reminds me, because I saw him so up close and personal.
Yep.
He reminds me of Vince Carter.
Uh-oh.
Just all the talent in the world, but just doesn't want it in that way. It's not to say he doesn't want it, because clearly to be that great, it's just there isn't that that next.
Vince had all of that stuff, and we expected Vince to take that next step, because it was when we saw him in the playoffs against Allen Iverson. It was like, all right, well, this is what we've been waiting for. So a guy like this, he could be what Brian is to the Lakers, and we could have that budding rivalry between those two. I don't think he wanted to do that though, Tone.
And listen, and that's okay.
I
right?
do think Tatum does though. I don't think
pushing it, but we keep pushing on Tatum, and I haven't seen it. And like, how many years are we going to wait? Because you always say, hey, by that 5th year, right? Like,
you are, I think.
Is he going to flick a switch? What year are we in now?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are we, 7, 8? What year are we in with Tatum?
This is year 7.
This is year 7?
Yep. This is year 7.
You're going to flick that switch. You got to flick that switch. And
so with that being
said,
and
listen, there's he doesn't want it. He doesn't have it.
Those two things are not the same.
Not the same.
Those two things are not the same. But with that being said, he is in a space, I think, where if you got different levels of leaders, right? Tim Duncan wasn't that type of leader. Tim Duncan wasn't the rah-rah, in your face.
Yeah.
I'm gonna snatch your spine out in front of everybody. No, Tim Duncan was the quiet guy. I'm gonna lead by example. That's who he is, right? Magic was the smile guy who, gave everybody a show. But Magic was that kind of leader where forcefully he would do things. Jabbar was the same way.
I would say, no, Jabbar was quiet, but I would say, but Magic had, like, in every one of those smile games, go watch in the playoffs. You saw the different side of him. So when he got fired up or angry,
right,
you took it very seriously, because you're like, oh, what happened to the smile? Like, right? Like, you remember Magic
Thomas was
turning and like, right? Like, yeah, he would kiss the guy on the cheek before the game, but he was swinging
him right in his face.
He was right minutes later. So, and Kareem similar, right? He was very stoic, quiet, but when he gave you that look,
didn't talk much.
Mrs. Fluent does the same thing to the kids. I yell, she looks at them.
They know what time it is when they get that look. They know exactly what time it is when they get that look.
Yeah. Okay. Let me straighten up, Kareem.
Magic, in fact, said that. Magic, in fact, said that when Jabbar would give me that look and he'd get low on that block, I better get him the ball.
Yeah.
I better go get him the ball. No matter what else we running, I better go over there and I better give him the basketball. So, I mean, the idea that guys like Tatum, guys like Anthony Edwards can't be the leaders of this team, or Jason Tatum, he doesn't have that thing. I disagree with that, because I've seen it. I've seen it come out of him. I've seen him in the playoffs. Yes, I've seen it come out of him. I've seen it in elimination games. I'm sorry, Tone. What you're doing is you're comparing this guy to Kobe Bryant, who would run you over in the street with a truck. What I'm saying is, Tone, I'm talking about from a dog perspective.
Okay.
He would run you over in the street with a truck, with an 18-wheeler, twice. He wouldn't run you over once. He would back the truck up on you again and then go, let's go get something to eat. We can't compare that kind of dog to this. Oh, we can't do that. What we're comparing is, we're comparing a guy who's pretty awesome as a ball player, who does have that fight in him when you bring it out of him. I saw it in Milwaukee in Game 6, an elimination game. I saw it in Game 6 in Philadelphia on the road in an elimination game. I saw it at home in Game 7. I've seen that dog in him. Like, we are not losing. I'm going to do it. I am the guy. I've seen that. There's just different levels of dog. And I feel like everybody that's a great player at that level, I think they all have it in them. It just takes certain things to bring it out of them. Pau Gasol is a prime example of that. He is a prime example of that. Bryant had to bring that dog out of him. Otherwise, they don't win. They don't.
Okay, so here's the thing. Are you going to put your effort, if you're Team USA, if you're one of the older guys, are you going to put it in to dragging it out of Tatum? Or are you just going to give it to Anthony Edwards, who wants it? Because no one's questioning, right? Like, no one's questioning if Anthony Edwards can do it. He wants to do it almost to a fault. Almost to a fault, he wants it. So it's like, well, hey, if Tatum is okay being, the secondary, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, especially on this team. It's okay. If he wants it, then, and he can do it, then let him do it. Because like I said, it doesn't always have to be the best player, right? Chuck wasn't the best player. You could argue if Kobe was the best player now, I think he was, but you can make that argument that, if you look at statistics, especially, sure, he wasn't. But he was definitely the leader. So why not? Why not let him do it?
I'm just thinking to myself, Tone, when you talk about Ant reminds me of the small dude that wants to play with the big guys. He's like, yo, come on, my man. Like, you nice, but you're just not there yet. And he's taking the ball and he's kicking it over the fence because he's like, y'all gonna let me play. Eventually, you guys are gonna let me play. And when he finally gets of age where he can play, you're like, damn, this dude is good. We all knew you had it. We just didn't think you were ready yet. That's all that is.
Hey, listen, Fluent Jr. already talking about going down to the courts on 4th there in Greenwich and like challenging Messiah. I'm like, dude, don't. He's like, I'm gonna take him. I'm like, you're not. But hey, I like that mentality. It's
I do too. And that quote unquote dog that you talk about, Tone, it's not with everybody doesn't have that kind of dog. It's different levels. There's some German shepherds. There's some bulldogs. There's some.
Yeah, but one's a Rottweiler, there's a poodle. Like,
right. There's some Rottweilers, right? There's different kind of dogs, and I feel like until he consistently does this, there's no way he's ever gonna get that tag off of him from you guys.
Listen, my dog was a boxer pit. That's the kind that I like. Yeah. I want an aggressive one that's gonna punch you in the face, yes. Again, especially, look, maybe we're blowing out of proportion because they're probably winning gold. Let's be honest. Yes. Either way, they are. Mm-hmm. But a team this talented could get complacent, right? And let's not forget the reason that all these guys, like the fire and passion they showed, right? When Dylan Brooks was laughing at Team USA after knocking them out where they didn't medal, and everyone got pissed off and was like, yeah, well, I'm coming to play. Mm-hmm. That was the intensity, that Twitter intensity they all showed when they were keyboard warriors. I want to see that on the court. Is it too much to ask that I want to see that?
It's not. It's not.
And again, they don't need to do it to win, but I'd really like to see it.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think there's too much to ask, to be honest with you. And Tone, I got no problem with wanting to see, that fire, that competitiveness. I got no problem with that.
I've seen enough exhibition where they don't care at the All-Star game. I don't want to see it over the summer.
I do not want to see it in the Olympics. No, because again, and I keep referencing this point, and I'll keep referencing it for as long as I live. Mehmet Okur found out that Kobe Bryant in 2000 wasn't on the Olympic team because he got married that summer. And he said, quote, if Turkey would have qualified for the Olympics in 2000, my wedding would have got pushed back. Yep. So
the rest of the world takes it serious.
That's how serious the Olympics are. We're not getting married this summer. I'm getting married later because I'm going to the Olympics. And you either on board or you not.
Listen, you can get married next year. You can't play in the Olympics next year. You gotta wait for.
Nope.
So we've talked about kind of this year's team. But you kicked it off and you were talking about having a core group of guys and kind of setting up the program, right? What does the development of Team USA look like? Mm-hmm. Is it 4 guys? Is it 5 guys? Like you had mentioned Tatum, Brown. Can we pause and talk about Brown for a second?
Sure.
How is he not on this team?
I think one of the main reasons why he's not on this team is because there are a lot of guys who I think he would be less accepting of the utility role, being the finals MVP. That's what
he's replacing a 2-time finals MVP.
He is, who's basically broken down, by the way.
I understand who he is, but we didn't know that he was broken down. We were expecting a healthy Kawhi Leonard, right? Because listen, there's someone who said, and I don't know who the person was, so I apologize, but it's someone in the mainstream media who was like, well, they brought in Derek White because he's more of a perimeter defender that can lock down.
No, that's not just it.
No,
That's not just
no,
it.
that's a lie because he's not replacing a perimeter defender. It's not Drew Holiday that's going out and he's replacing it. It was Kawhi Leonard. Well, who's closer to Kawhi Leonard's type of game where he's a two-way player? Is it Jaylen Brown or is it Derek White?
Definitely Jaylen Brown more than
That's
anybody.
Crap. So that argument does not fly with me.
The downside is the problem, Tone, is it's a real weird look, man. And it's just weird that the NBA champ, 3 of the guys off that crew,
Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah, it just looks weird.
Finals MVP.
Right.
And he's a Celtic. It's not like they said, hey, we already have 2 Celtics. We don't want a third. You brought a guy from his same team.
Right. It just looks weird. Now, I do from the standpoint of it being a fit, I can understand them going with Derek White, but the fact that Jaylen Brown wasn't selected right from the beginning, not as a replacement player, just right from the beginning.
He should have just been right off the jump. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Why wasn't he selected right from the beginning? So before Drew Holiday get on the crew, before Derek White gets on the crew, before Tyrese Halliburton gets on the crew, before Devin Book, all of these guys,
Jaylen Brown should be on it.
Jaylen Brown should have been on this crew.
And anyone who says fit does. I'm sorry. Anyone who says fit is. I don't want to say anything. I was going to say call them a very bad name. I'll stop and say you don't get it then because this team is not about. Stop it. It's not about fit. And again, look who he's replacing. He's replacing Kawhi. So what is Kawhi? Kawhi is a small forward.
But that doesn't mean that. Here's the difference, though, Tone. He's replacing Kawhi Leonard, but he's not replacing Kawhi Leonard for that position, right? Kawhi Leonard was not going to be, for all intents purposes, if healthy, he was not going to be just a dirty work guy or just.
That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't just going to be that. That's who Derek White is.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what we don't have. We don't have that extra guy.
We don't need it.
Yeah, actually we do, Tone.
Then you shouldn't have picked Kawhi Leonard from the beginning.
Well, maybe that's true. Maybe Jaylen Brown should have already been on the crew right from the beginning. Not Jalen Brunson. I'm sorry. Drew Holiday should have already been on because we need Drew Holiday on this team. We need Derek White on. We need Derek White type on this team.
No, you don't.
I feel like we need that. But if we're gonna have Jaylen Brown on the crew, he should have been on the crew right from the beginning.
You don't need that guy. And again, and I'm taking it very literal as and I know everyone else is like, oh well, they needed this and that's why. No, if you needed that, then there would have been one on there already. You didn't figure it out now that you needed a dirty work guy all of a sudden. You're like the selection committee isn't. I'm assuming they're not morons. They're not idiots. So if they thought they needed dirty work guys, they would have had a couple more. No, they had Kawhi freaking Leonard, who did not play this season because of injury, or didn't play a lot this season because of injury. So you put him on. Was it just a thank you, pat on the back? And they're like, but if he goes down, we're gonna put in whatever. Or now that KD is hurting, take KD off the team if he's not going to play and throw in Jaylen Brown. What you should have done, like you said from the beginning.
Yeah.
Why you haven't hurt guys on there? You have enough players. So I don't get it. I'm like you. I don't get why he wasn't on there from the beginning. And then to put a guy who's a lesser player
just looks weird, man. And I understand. I do understand the fit thing. Another dirty work guy.
It's gonna happen next, right? There's gonna be a bunch of talking heads that are like, well, much like 3 or 4 of the dudes in '92 kept Isaiah off. This was Tatum. This was Holiday. They don't like Jaylen Brown. They don't like his politics. They don't like him as a teammate. And the Celtic divide. And here why we never have three-peats anymore. The divide's gonna.
Well, we already seen that. We already saw that. Jason Kidd tried that and it didn't work. So that's not the. This is a now. I think this is a selection. Big. This is a selection thing. That's number one. Number two, the fact that Jason Tatum didn't stand up for his man, that does look a little tricky. Like, yo, he should be on the crew.
There should have been a tweet, but
he should have been on the crew.
But that's why it was so brilliant to take Derek White, because he can privately say to Jaylen Brown, yo, dude, I totally would have said something, but I didn't want to, also, because then it's bad towards Derek White, right? Had they picked someone from another team, it would have been easier, but they put him in a position where he can't say anything. He can't come to Jaylen Brown's defense because then he upsets the role player, the dirty work guy, who you need.
I feel like a guy. The problem with Jaylen Brown is the fact that he did what he did, the fact that he won the Finals MVP, the fact that he won the fact that he won the East Finals MVP, the fact that he won the Finals MVP. Even though none of this talk was going on when Chauncey Billups did it, none of this talk was going on when Paul Pierce did it, even though Paul Pierce was hurt. Like, none of this talk was going on when these guys did it.
Yeah, but
I think that
you're one of them, the third player from the same championship team on the Olympics. Like, it's a very different scenario.
It would have been tricky if, like, Ben Wallace and Sheed and Rip Hamilton was on the crew after Chauncey Billups had won the finals. Right. I do get that part, but I don't think that this has a lot to do with the guys on the crew more than it is the selection crew and what exactly it is they're looking for.
They're trying to break up the Celtics.
If you had
and God bless them. And God bless them.
If you have Devin Booker on the crew, if you have Kevin Durant on the crew, if you have perimeter guys like Steph Curry on the crew, okay, so you got perimeter scoring. So who's your wing defender? Well, Jaylen Brown proved in the NBA Finals, I will do that. He did that against Luka. He proved that.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of a guy like Derek White, would he be less of an issue? Would he be less of a problem if this went on, as opposed to if, man, it's tricky, Tone. I'm having a difficult time with it off the strength that, all right, I'm having a difficult time with it off the strength that Jaylen Brown did what he did in the postseason. And now the three guys that are on the crew, it just looks weird. I understand a fit. I 100% get with that logic. Because if I got three guys that already do what you do, I don't need you. As good as you are, I don't.
Is it LeBron?
No, I don't think so.
Because he said, I don't think Bronny is a pro.
And he's right. He's not wrong about that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's start another conspiracy. I think it's LeBron James that kept him off the team.
I'm not walking down this rabbit hole, Tone. I'm not. I'm not.
Can we clarify the 92 team and Isaiah Thomas real quick, like in 30 seconds? Can we clarify what kept Isaiah Thomas off the team?
What kept Isaiah Thomas off the team was him and his crew walking off the floor in 1991 and not shaking hands with the Bulls. That's when the team was actually being picked, and it left a real sour taste in the mouth of the Olympic Committee, and the fact that he wasn't really that chummy with the rest of the guys as he should have been. And the fact that they already had guys, like they already had Magic, they already had Stockton, right? They already had guys like that who would fit better as opposed to having Isaiah on the crew, because Isaiah would have been not a deterrent, but Isaiah would have been a fly in the ointment.
Let's just be honest. Nobody liked him.
He would have been a fly in the ointment.
And let's be very clear, because I wanted to get this out because someone was asking me about it, and I was like, I said, I'll do it on the show for you. There's 4 reasons and 4 players why Isaiah wasn't on the team. 1, the Bulls lost to the Pistons repeatedly in the playoffs. Hard fought, physical. 3 straight years. And what did Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the Bulls do after every single one of those beatings? Even though they hated the way they lost, they hated how physical they were, they complained about it, they went and shook their hands every single time. The Bulls come back, sweep them, they walk off the court and don't shake their hands. Later, Isaiah would say, well, the Boston Celtics didn't shake our hands when we finally got over that hump. I don't care what
when you lose, you left the floor.
I don't care what you and Larry. I don't care what you and Larry did. I came to you as a man after you beat the crap out of me 3 years in a row. I came to you as a man and shook your hand. You need to come and shake.
Which was ridiculously hard, Tone. Which was ridiculously hard to do that.
Of course, and say, hey, they're a good team. I hope they win it all. You saw the interviews after. Like, that was okay. So I shook your hand when you beat me. You come and shake my hand. I don't care what you do with other teams. Hey, when you beat them, they didn't shake your hands. Hey, if they beat you, don't shake their hands back. That's fine. That's a different scenario. So
and by the way, and I want you to keep going, Tone. Don't leave out that not only did you beat me, y'all beat us up.
Yeah, beat us up. That's what I said. I beat us up physical. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't leave that out. We got beat up too.
So Jordan's upset about that. Let's also not forget Isaiah Thomas, telling the Bulls and Jordan and whoever would listen, I hate, the way that I come to Chicago and my cousins, because Isaiah, if you forget, is from Chicago, and my cousin's not wearing a Thomas Pistons jersey, he's wearing a Jordan Bulls jersey, and I hated that. And I was
this is my sister's boy, by the way. This ain't a distant cousin. This is my sister's boy, my nephew.
Wearing a Jordan jersey and I came to beat the Bulls every time to show him he needs to wear my jersey. Okay, so there's already that animosity. Pippen, also the same thing, beating him up, talking trash to him, so they don't like each other. But people forget two very, very important things, because one, they went to Magic, and it was Magic's responsibility to get Bird and Jordan to play. So they're like, well, why didn't Magic stand up for Isaiah Thomas? Well, guys, because you forget, that was the summer or right after the summer that he came out and said he's HIV positive. And what did Isaiah Thomas do? Started spouting out about how Magic was gay, and that's why he got HIV, and he completely dissolved their friendship. So guess what Magic said? I don't want him on the team either.
Which is his man, by the way. This isn't just a dude he knows. This is his man.
But yes, right. That friendship was over. So he's not going to. So now you got Jordan and Pippen and Magic, who are all like, I'm out on Isaiah. Well, who's the next biggest name there? Well, it's Larry Bird. Well, what happened with Larry Bird? Well, Dennis Rodman a couple of years earlier said, well, if he was black, he'd be just another player. And what did Isaiah Thomas do? What he should have done, stood up for Dennis Rodman and agreed with him, but dissolved any relationship he had with Larry Bird by saying he's right. If he was black, he would be just another player. So much so that they had to have a press conference to resolve the racial issues that Larry Bird, by the way, said, hey, I got a finals to try and win. You can deal with it. And he walked out of the press conference and left Isaiah alone to apologize, right? So you've got, forget Pippen a little bit, I'm sorry. You got the three biggest names on the team in Bird, Magic, and Jordan that don't want you there. That's why you weren't there. Fast forward to now. I don't think Kevin Durant, LeBron James, or Steph Curry want Jaylen Brown on this team.
This is a conspiracy theory, guys, just so y'all know. I'm not buying this at all, Toad. I'm not buying, even though I've seen, if you want to rewind the clock, Steph Curry and Jaylen Brown have had their run-ins.
That's why I brought it up.
Steph Curry and Jay, but that's basketball. That's just you and me yapping at each other. I don't think that's something that turns into where Isaiah Thomas is part of the bad boys, where we clothesline and Larry Bird. Okay, those two things are not the same.
Generations version,
right? Where we clothesline and Larry Bird, and we actually getting into fist fights with these dudes.
Yeah, now they just make fun of their clothes. That's what they do.
That's a little bit different. James, on the other hand, I don't think that he's even thinking about Jaylen Brown like that. Jaylen Brown was asked the question, if I'm not mistaken, like yesterday. This thing was already figured out. I don't think James had anything to do with that. They had already picked the Olympic team and got commitments from guys a long time ago. The idea that Isaiah Thomas wasn't picked because of Bird, Magic, and Jordan a while ago, that does make sense. Because if you think about, which, by the way, Tone, I stand on it, Isaiah Thomas, for lack of a better term, and I'm sorry for cussing, but that was the most sucker shit I've ever seen. And I couldn't tell you how much I enjoyed watching the Bulls wipe the floor with them dudes in 1991. It was some of the most fun that I've ever had at watching a sports event. But with that being said, I'll only disagree because I really wanted the Pistons to win, because I felt we had a better chance beating them than of course you did. Of course you did. You thought that they could. You saw what that Bulls team was doing, and you was like, I don't know.
I don't want no part of that.
No, I don't want nothing to do with them. But what goes into selecting the Olympic team? The guys definitely have something to do with it. 100%. Just like when you're talking about trades, just when you talk about signing free agents, teams come to guys and ask, so how you feel about Tony? How do you feel about Jermaine? How you feel about us signing this guy? Hell yeah, bring him in. Or no, we don't want him. No, teams do that. I think they do the same thing on the Olympic team, where they'll go to guys, yo, how you feel about Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
How you feel about Devin Booker? How you feel about Tyrese Halliburton? 100% they do that. And they go to the elder statesmen like Kevin Durant, who's already on a team with Devin Booker. James, who's in the same conference with him, or Steph Curry. Hell yeah, I want to play with that dude. As opposed to we just pick and cruise and whether you like it or not, this is what we're doing. No, I think this selection process, I do think that this selection process has a little bit more to do with the people selecting, even though they do check with the other guys. I think this is more of them than it is the guys.
Damn.
I think they made a mistake. All right. So I think we already kind of talked about the face. Do you still think it's Tatum? I think it should. The face of the Olympic team should be Anthony Edwards.
I think it should be Tatum.
And who are the 5?
Tatum, Anthony Edwards, Bam, Tyrese Halliburton, Jaylen Brown.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm good with that 5, because that's what I think. The difference is I don't think we need like some of the European teams that they all play together all the time. I think is if you have that core 5, because injuries, this, that, whatever, then you can kind of piece in the rest. But they'll create a culture,
sure,
right? And then whoever comes in has to kind of listen. You have to buy into that culture.
Think about in 2012. So the team that in 2008 with James, Bosh. James, Bosh, Wade. I don't think Wade played in 2012. But because I think he was hurt.
In 2008.
But in 2008.
Oh, okay. Who stayed in 12?
Right,
okay.
From moving over to 12, Bryant was on the crew. James was on the crew. I think Wade played. I think Bosh was the one who didn't play. I think he was the one who was hurt.
Yeah, maybe.
Carmelo Anthony was on the crew. So like that core of guys, that's what you built Team USA around. And then now you get the other guys, to your point, you get those other guys to now buy in and get on the crew.
All right. Let's shift gears to
Snap back to reality.
The Summer League. And you posed an interesting question. You said second year kind of established guys playing in the Summer League, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I have a very opinionated stance on this, but I'm curious to know where you stand. So we're not talking about rookies. We agree rookies should all play Summer League, kind of get used to the NBA game. But when you say established, right, second year, when you say established, is that anyone beyond year 2? Or just a second year guy who's established?
Just a second year guy who is clearly, like for example, Wemby. I don't know how much. If the Olympics weren't going on this summer, should Wemby play in the Summer League? I wouldn't mind seeing Wemby in a game or 2, just to get some reps. And the reason why I feel like second year players, because not all these second year players are even though they are established, like Brandon Miller, for example. Brandon Miller is established as a good player,
sure.
But working with the guys that are on that coaching staff in the summertime, getting some reps, playing in a controlled environment as opposed to in a pickup game in San Diego some damn where, I can actually get some run and work with my coaching staff. We can work on the stuff that I need to work on throughout the course of the summer, as opposed to I'm only playing pickup. I'm only working out. Well, I don't want to risk him getting hurt. I don't want to risk him possibly injuring himself. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Tone, I saw Klay Thompson tear up his Achilles while rehabbing his ACL. So I saw Boogie Cousins tear up his knee in a pickup game. So you could get hurt playing.
You can get hurt walking on the beach.
Yes, you can. I feel like I could get hurt anywhere, anytime. I don't think that that's the issue. I feel like second year guys, I think that it's to their benefit, even if it's only for 2 games. Now, a guy like Cam Whitmore, I don't think Cam Whitmore should be playing the entire Summer League. No, I don't think so. I think that it's a waste. I don't think it's a waste of time, but I do think that him playing the entire Summer League after what he had already done last year, he was the MVP of the Summer League, and then this year to get some more reps, we got guys who need to be seen. We already know that you're an established guy. We already know that you're a guy who has built up enough reputation where you don't have to keep doing this. You can come in for a game, 2 games, just like Jabari Smith did last year, right? Just like Jabari Smith did last year, come in for a game, 2 games, and then you're good after that. As opposed to, he's going to play the entire Summer League. No, I don't think so.
I don't care what year you're in. I hate the fact that we think this is a rookie showcase. I've got players who I need to get better. And I don't want them playing at LA Fitness. I don't want them playing in the Drew League. I don't want, because all they're going to do is go torch a bunch of dudes who are never going to make it to the NBA, a bunch of has-beens, a bunch of never will be's, and it gives them a false sense of who they are. Like Malachi Flynn dropping 52 in some pro-am don't mean to my NBA franchise. However, if I get him in a summer league with a bunch of other rookies, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year players getting actual NBA run with my coaching staff who says, listen, I don't care about your stats. I care about, I need you to work on this or develop this or see how you handle that defensive assignment. That's what I need you to work on so that you can get better. That's what summer league is to me. And it's become just a glorified Drew League where they're going to go out and, run and gun and yeah, occasionally we see a guy, but how many times has the summer league, and look, I know someone's going to say, well, there was this guy, but overall, how many times has the summer league MVP been a superstar basketball player?
Not many. I mean, Cam Whitmore won it last year. Those guys don't really play long, Tone. I mean, Scoot got hurt, so he didn't play. I think he only played that one game. Amen Thompson, he turned his ankle. He only played like 2 games. So a lot of these guys, they don't really play that much.
And I'm not saying they have to play the whole summer league, but when you say pros and cons, okay, the cons are they can get hurt. That's the only con of playing good organized.
Like Amen Thompson should be in the summer league. He should be playing.
Yeah, and
100%. He should be playing in the summer.
And the con is they're going to get hurt, but let's be honest, they can get hurt anywhere. They can get hurt working out with their trainer, right? Like, I don't think it's more likely that they're going to get hurt in summer league than any other, because they should be playing, right? Because we can't have them, podcasting or selling real estate or having another job in the summer, because then they're going to be like the plumbers of the 50s, and we don't want that. We don't want that. FYI, only one ever plumber actually played in the NBA, by the way. Only played 1 game. He went 0 for 1. But anyway, another story for another day. So we don't want that. We want them playing in the summer now. We want them working out all year round, especially the young guys. We're investing millions and tens of millions of dollars into them.
Right.
So I want them in summer league playing. So that's the con, is they can get hurt. The pro is that they're going to play against NBA level talent. They're going to develop a skill under their coaching staff who should be there watching them. And then if they're a competent coaching staff, they're getting them. Look, they're not playing them 38 minutes a night every single night, right? But it's in stretches. Hey, it's situational. End of the first quarter, end of the half, last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. Let's see how you do under pressure when we need a bucket or you need to hit a free throw when it's a close game. Like those are the scenarios that you can just drop them into cold. Like, hey, if you can hit a free throw cold when you're down by 1, you got to hit 2 to win a game or to send a game to overtime or something, that's going to show me a lot about who you are as a player for my team. I'm going to put you on a defensive assignment to see, hey, can you keep up with this? This guard's a little bit smaller. He's a little bit quicker. Well, those are the things that I want you to develop, or whatever. Maybe it's a play. But I mean, like, it's those little nuances of the game that you're not going to get that, working out. It doesn't matter with who else, anywhere else. You're not going to have that opportunity. And that's why I think there's so many more pros. I don't care if it's 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year. And you know what people are going to say? Oh, but it's for the rookies to showcase. I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's for me to develop.
It's not just for those guys. It's not just for those guys. When my prime example would be Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith last year, he plays in the summer league. There was stuff that he was doing I didn't know he had in his game. I didn't know he could shoot the long ball off a dribble like that. That's something that, okay,
give him a chance to do it. Yeah.
Right. That's something that he can work on. Not only is that something that he can work on, Tone, last I checked, in the Vegas Summer League, in the California Summer League, in what's going on in Utah, we've actually put these guys in settings like what's going on during the season, where the arena is sold out, where we got a bunch of people here. So we're going to put you in a situation where 5 minutes left in the game, we're going to come to you. We're going to see, can you get a stop? We're going to see can you get a stop? We're going to see if you can get me a bucket. Can you get me a big rebound? I feel like the idea that, okay, this guy's got the goods. Let's clearly just get him off the floor, and we're going to preserve him. I have no problem with you preserving him. I have no problem with you preserving him later on. But initially, I feel like the only way for me to get better, is to get reps. And I care about getting those reps in situations that are going to be beneficial to me. And in a summer league, playing in front of 10,000 people, playing in front of my coaching staff, who I'm going to be working with all year long, that's going to be beneficial to me. Again, I don't think Cam Whitmore should have to play the entire summer league, but I think that a guy like him, who's basically in a log jam in Houston, will benefit from getting better playing against second year and third year guys.
And as a coach, I mean, like, let's say Whitmore, I'm trying to find ways to get him more playing time. I'm using him as the example. I'm making this up. I don't know the scenario, but I want to find time to give him more playing time because he's an explosive scorer. And if we can get him on the court more, I know that he'll have more opportunities and that, but I need to know, can he handle these situations? Can he run the second unit offense? Can he defend like whatever it is that you want to see? Right. Again, I'm just spitballing stuff. Well, guess what? Here's your chance to do that, because if all of the guys are doing it against second, third, fourth year players, well, then the intensity level, then the competition level is up, and you're going to see, well, maybe he can do this in an in-game. And now when the preseason starts, when the regular season starts, I can do it in little spurts, 3-4 minute stretches, and be like, okay, he can do this. Now I can give it more and more and more. And now I've developed something versus here I go. Like here's me. I went and shot around with a guy who's in summer league right now. You might recognize him, and look what it looked like. Tell me that you shouldn't be giving Whitmore minutes instead of this.
Rain dance, raindrops. Old school. T, come on. I'm burning. I need to burn.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to the score. I appreciate that. That was wonderful.
Oh my God.
He should not be taking up a roster spot.
Oh my God. That was terrible.
We'll watch it again at the end of the.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
But like,
what? I digress. I'm sorry. Let me get it back together. So it was. I had a problem, right? I had a problem with guys that I saw on the sideline last year, like Jalen Suggs and Jaylen Brown. I had a problem with not Jaylen Brown. I'm sorry, Jalen Green. I had a problem seeing those guys on the sideline because I'm thinking there's no reason why you shouldn't be getting reps because you ain't that nice. You are not that nice that you should be sitting on the sideline. You should be getting reps as a second or third year guy. You aren't. You had practice. Jalen Green is a prime example. The reason why he struggled in Houston early on is because you had practiced some really bad habits with Steven Silas. That place was a zoo. So now you get with Coach Udoka and you get with his coaching staff. The process of getting with his coaching staff, now you have an idea of what's to come, right? What are they looking for from me? And how are they looking for this from me? How am I going to be coached? How are they going to handle me? As opposed to when I show up to training camp and I'm doing extra stuff. And now I'm in defensive drills. And I'm like, wait a minute. We didn't have that going on last year. Well, you saw it in the summertime. You knew what it was. Because you knew what it was, now you're more prepared for it. So I'm an advocate of young guys developing. And I feel like the summer league in Vegas, in Salt Lake City, I feel like this is the perfect time for you guys to get better. Because if we're being honest, half of these dudes that's on the rosters with Houston, them dudes ain't coming to training camp. Them dudes are not coming to training camp with the Lakers. Half of those guys are not coming to training camp in Phoenix. Half of those guys that's Charlotte team. Half those guys are not coming to training camp. So why not get my young guys some rest?
Yes.
Why not get my young guys some rest?
They should be begging to do it.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'll be there.
Right, like the guys who love basketball, like who they are, and what is the common theme, right, of the stories you hear. And I don't go as far back as you want. Okay, I can go as far back as Magic, Bird, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, KD, and the list goes on. But what is a reoccurring theme you hear about them? Oh, they were filming a movie and they built a court so that they could play on it. Oh, Magic and Bird were shooting a commercial and they went to the barn where Larry grew up and they were shooting hoops and they were getting real competitive. Every story you hear, right? Jordan was filming Space Jam and he built a full stadium and he would have NBA guys come in and play. When he was playing baseball, he would still go to the Bulls training facility and play pickup games with guys. I just heard a story from Doug Flutie, and Doug Flutie was like, "Yeah, I would go there because he was the Bears quarterback at the time." He goes, "I'd go in there," and he goes, "I was a nice little point guard. I'd be passing it to the guys." And he goes, "But every time Jordan showed up, the intensity level went up to another level." And he goes, "The second I got the ball, I just pass it off." He goes, "I didn't want any part of that." Yes. And it was just like, that's the stories you hear. LeBron, right? You hear stories about LeBron. It's, oh, we were playing, we were doing it. Like, it's always basketball. Yes. KD's married to basketball. He's like, I don't even want a wife and kids. I'm married to the game. Sure. I've said a million times, as much as I give KD a hard time, as you know I do, that's the thing I love about him. Mm-hmm. So if you're a young dude who just made it to the NBA, I don't care how rich you are, like, you should be wanting to play, or else I'm worried about you.
That's my question to you, Tone. So if we rewind the clock, like we got the Vegas Summer League, we got the Summer League in Salt Lake City, we got the Summer League in California. You think Magic would have played in it?
100%.
100% he would have played 100%. In it. 100% he would have played in it, no doubt. And I ain't talking about Magic in year 2, Magic in year 6.
No, you'd have to stop him from playing.
Yes, because he would come to it.
Go, and look, would he play the whole damn summer in year 6? No, but guess what? He'd go get a couple of runs.
Yes, he would.
Runs
100%.
And those fans would be in for a treat.
Yes, they would,
because they'd be like, "Oh, I'm just going to watch, the Lakers Summer League." Magic shows up. Yeah.
You think Jordan would show up to the Summer League in Vegas?
Hell yeah, he would.
Yes, he would. 100%.
He'd come straight from the poker table.
Yes. Isaiah Thomas would show up to. I'm not on the fence about this.
Maybe the golf course. Maybe come off the golf.
Isaiah Thomas, Lajuan. Kobe Bryant played in the Summer League in 96, and I don't think he played in 97, but I think that's because they told him no. I think he would have played in 97 in the Summer League if they told him, or if he asked to play in the Summer League. I think he would have played again. No doubt about that. So I think this thing is.
If I may jump one other thing too. So I know I made fun of Bronny a little bit there, and we'll get to some more of his stats in a second, but you also will get a more realistic evaluation of these other guys, because guess who else goes to Summer League? Undrafted guys, second round guys. And sometimes they look real good in Summer League because, well, they're playing against a bunch of other guys who aren't going to get any minutes.
Right.
And they look better than they really are, but you don't know for sure. That's why I brought up the Summer League MVP stuff. You don't know for sure, but if you had these third and fourth year guys, second year guys who, were there with them, even in spurts, and you saw how they handled that.
I mean, how much better is Cam Whitmore if Brandon Miller shows up to the Summer League? I mean, how much better is he?
And you know what else it does? It probably increases that intensity level, right?
Yes, right. Hell yes. Like that Orlando Magic team. How much better is Cam Whitmore or I don't know, how much better is this kid Reed Shepherd if Jalen Suggs shows up to the Summer League?
Yeah, like Reed Shepherd. Reed Shepherd's a great example. He's dropping 20, I think 5 and 5 and 3 steals, right? He looks like a superstar.
Yep.
But is he? Like, are you sure?
We don't know.
I don't know. He looks great in Summer League, right? Is this kid? I'm sorry. I'm going to pick on him. 7 of 33 for 22.6%. 0 for 15 from 3. 4 points, minus 38. Now, and this is against a bunch of dudes that we don't know anything. Imagine now.
These are actually his peers, Tone, that you're talking about.
That's right. That's his peers.
Davion Mitchell is not his peer, right? Dennis Schroeder is not his peer. No, he is not. Damian Lillard, those guys are not. Jalen Brunson, that's not his peer. Those aren't guys who he should be going up against. These guys in the Summer League, those are his peer, because these guys are guys who either just got out of school or who played a year in Europe, something like that. And there should be something there that we see. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Tone. I've seen flashes where I'll see him dunk the ball, or I'll see him finish around the rim. I've seen flashes, but for the most part, I see a kid that's just another guy.
I seen a kid that should have stayed in college for 2 more years.
That's what I see. I
think his dad did him a disservice.
Yes, he did.
By forcing this. I really feel like, look, I don't know for sure, but I feel like it was forced on him because of the time frame that someone else had. And he's just not. Look, is he worse than any other 55th pick? Probably not. But a 55th pick's not getting on a team. So a 55th pick isn't getting $4 million.
No.
Or whatever his contract was. Right? Those are
$8 million over
8 million? Oh yeah, 7.95. Yeah, you're right. So that those are the things that I'm just like, and again, I'm picking on him because he's a great example of, right? And Reed Sheppard, again, I'm not picking on him to so much, but to say, here's a guy who's not facing the right competition and doesn't look good. So now I'm worried. Here's a guy who's not facing the right competition and looks good in Reed Sheppard, but I don't really know because he's not facing the right competition.
My issue, Tone, is, and you know I'm a James guy. You know James is my guy, but I wouldn't be transparent if I wasn't honest. And the truth is this is about you. This isn't about anybody else except you. There's no way you see this kid and you're buying the logic. I'm buying the logic that, this was his decision. No, it wasn't. It was not. Because you may have said to him, yo, what do you want to do? I want to play in the NBA. I want to hear my name called on draft day. Last I checked, Tone, last year in 2024, that wasn't the last draft. Is that correct? I think there's going to be a draft in 2025, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I'm pretty confident there's going to be a draft in 2026. I'm sure that there's going to be a draft.
Hope nothing happens to stop it, yes.
Right. Unless the planet blows up and we don't have anything else going on, I'm pretty confident that there's going to be a draft in 2025 and in 2026. So if you want to hear your name called in the draft, then we got work to do. This was about him wanting to play with his boy, and I'm running out of time. So I got to speed this process up. Obvious, Tone, it's obvious watching this kid. One, he looks disengaged. There is no aggression there. And the reason why there's no aggression there is because I'm really not sure about myself. And when I'm not confident, when I'm not confident about myself, you see right from the beginning my flaws. And I'm looking for a guy. When I look for these guys, the word that I use, Tone, is the goods. That's the word that I've always used. Where are the goods? The analogy that I give is like a meal. Tone, Mrs. Fluent has everything that she needs to cook this meal. But if you rushing her, she's going to throw the meat in the oven and she's going to put it on 500. She's going to put this in a pot and she's going to have it on high. And it's not going to come out the way it's supposed to, as opposed to leave her in the kitchen, leave her to the ingredients, and let her do it. And in a couple of hours when you come back, the meal you was waiting for, there it is, Tone. It's right there in front of you. This guy got rushed, and he got rushed solely because of his father's, I got to say it, solely because of his father's selfishness. This isn't about anybody else but you. This isn't about you wanting to create a legacy for your kids. No, this is about you, because if it was really about this kid, he would have went back to school if you would have told him to. If you would have said, you're not ready, go back to school. He wouldn't have said, Dad, no, he would have went back to school.
And everyone should mark this day on their calendars, because today I complimented Kevin Durant and you said something negative about LeBron James. First time ever. But you're right. It's a shame because he can't go back now.
That's it.
He can't go back, right? He can't. It's too late for him. He's been drafted. Right. It's not 1955 where he can say, actually, I'm going to go. I've changed my mind. I want to go back to school and be drafted by another team. So there's two things left to do today. Mm-hmm. One, we're going to send out the link and bring some people on and hear what they have to say. Mm-hmm. Actually, there's three things left to do. Two, I want to let everybody know to come back at 10 o'clock, right after this show, the Hoopstorians. We've got, I want to say about 15 people who had sent in their votes. So I believe that's actually how many people vote for the NBA Hall of Fame? Is it 20?
That was the number I was going to say, Tone. I was going to say
that was 20. So we have 15, and we talking about myself, obviously you, Paul McKeskey, who's a former NBA player, played for the Bucks. Lowe, legend of winning. A lot of guys you know from social media who voted, and we're doing the first annual. This is the first one annual, which means we're going to do it again every year. We voted for only NBA. You can only base on their NBA playing career. Everybody voted who would be the first 10 people they would induct. These aren't now the criteria could be whatever you want, but the top 10 people that you would put into the NBA only Hall of Fame, the first 10 you would induct if you were the king of the world or the queen of the world. And you wanted to say this is in order, the 10 people that have to go into the NBA Hall of Fame first. We all voted. Tony Styles did his algorithm and collected all the votes, and the first 5 will be inducted into the Sports Fluent Hall of Fame. Once their names are announced over the next upcoming days, they're all going to have a nice little video montage with some highlights and stuff. So that's coming up at 10 o'clock. Okay, so to repeat, we're going to give you the link, 10 o'clock, the Hall of Fame. But speaking of Hall of Fame, you know how I feel about the Hall of Fame.
I do. You are a, for lack of a better term, you a tough MF, Tone. Holy shit.
I did some math. I did some math on Sunday. And I said if 5,000 people played, 30% of them were starters, 10% of them should get in. The Hall of Fame should be like 20 people.
Unbelievable. Think about that for a second.
So that being said, we're going to start a new series. We're going to take 5 minutes out of every show, and then I'm going to give the link. So we're going to have 30 minutes for you guys to jump on and speak your mind. I'm going to start in 1959, which was the first Hall of Fame induction. And we're just going to, if it takes 5 minutes for 1 year, then we only do 1 year. If we can go through a couple, because sometimes there's smaller classes. As a player, so I'm not going to talk, Fung Allen, who went in as a coach. We're not talking about that. We're talking about players who went in. So here was the first of the players that went into the Hall of Fame. Luther Gulick.
Oh boy.
Edward Hickox, Charles Hyatt, Matthew Kennedy, Hank Lucetti, George Mikan, Ralph Morgan, Joe Schumer, Oswald Tower. Of that list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players, 1 should be in the Hall of Fame. Agree or disagree? George Mikan, and that's the only one.
That's it. The rest of them dudes out.
Agree or disagree?
I don't know what Luther Gulick. I don't, to be honest with you, Tone, and as you know, I am a historian, but I do not know what Luther Gulick did. I don't.
Therefore, we can move on to 1960s basketball. We had Victor Hansen, George Hepburn. I'm skipping coaches. Ed McCulley, Charles Murphy, Henry Porter. Exactly. None of them. Let me shout out, though, John Wooden was also inducted that year to the Basketball Hall of Fame. He 100% deserves it. 1961. We only have 30 seconds left, but we got through 3 years. This is actually pretty good. We got, now some of these are international. So if they're international, I'm going to skip them, like Bernard Borgman, Forrest DeBerndt. Let's see. Bob Curlin, John Bryan, Ernest Quigley, John Rusma, Arthur Schabinger, Christian Steinmetz, David Toby, Arthur Tester, David Walsh.
I think we're going solely off these guys' names. Like, I don't know what Toby Walsh did.
You don't need to know, because if you don't know, they're not a Hall of Famer, right? You know George Mikan.
I do know what George
You
Mikan
immediately know George Mikan. That's what a Hall of Famer is, that you immediately, as a basketball historian, you're not just some dude off the street. You're a basketball historian. So we went through the first 3 years. Let me mark it down. We're going to start in 1962 next time.
Mm-hmm.
We just got rid of a whole lot of fat in the Basketball Hall of Fame. One person out of those first 3. Okay? Ed McCulley, only lock. All right. Do you know who Ed McCulley is?
I do know who Ed McCulley is. He was
Is he a lock for the Hall of Fame?
I think so. Yes.
Easy Ed McCulley?
Easy Ed. Mm-hmm. I remember Easy Ed. He was one of the original big guys. He played with Bob Pettit. Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't even the best player on his team.
Yeah, he played with Bob Pettit. Mm-hmm.
So if someone isn't even the best player on their team, are they a Hall of Famer?
Yes. Scottie Pippen is in the Hall of Fame. Tone, don't do that. Oh,
He shouldn't be.
don't do that.
He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he should be.
No, he shouldn't. No, maybe like in the basement, but not up with the dudes. All right, let's see. So he played 10 years in the NBA. Okay. 7 All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
1-time champ, 4-time All-NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He was the All-Star MVP one year. Congratulations. Okay, so 4 All-NBA, 17, 7, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
He played from 1949, no shot clock, until 58, 59.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, St. Louis, I think Boston, and then St. Louis again. No, I don't even know who S to be. Yeah, St. Louis. I was right. Yeah,
St. Louis. Yes.
St. Louis, Boston, and then St. Louis again. I'm admitting I don't know enough about him, so I'm pulling it up. Okay, he played 600 games. He shot 43% from the field, 76%. Okay, yeah. The 4 All NBAs out of 10 year, 40% of his 10-year career. Is that a Hall of Famer?
I don't love that 30% from the floor though. I don't love that.
No. It was 43%.
I'm talking about the first year and the last year. I don't love that.
Oh, that 39. Yeah, 29% from the field in year. Well, he only played 14 games. He was probably injured. 14 minutes a game.
Yeah.
In that season. So the first 2 years, they didn't even calculate how many minutes per game they played. Like
they just threw him out there. Just go rock. Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about how many minutes you played. They just throw him out there.
I love this is why that's why it's so tough with some of these stats, because when you go back to some of these years, right? You don't even like, people don't even know. Like, for example, one of my big things with John Havlicek is that he was coming off the bench for the first championships. He was coming off the bench. He wasn't a starter. And people go, "What are you talking about?" And they go look up Basketball Reference, and they're like, "It doesn't even say." I'm like, "Yeah, you got to do more research in Basketball Reference to know that he was coming off the bench." But because it doesn't tell them, right, that he was because it doesn't say games started, right? So I always kind of find that funny. But so I gotta tell you, like, I don't think he's not in for me
for that time. Now remember, Tone, what the Hall of Fame is. When guys get inducted to the Hall of Fame, if we're going strictly off the NBA, it's for that time. That's that's essentially what it's for. Yeah. Now, if that's today, no. Even though we got a 4-time All-Pro who played 10 years, right? I think he averaged 20 a game. I think he averaged 18 a game for like 6 or 7 straight years or something like that. And he was shooting the going rate in terms of field goal percentage. He was one of the original big guys. But with that being said, he was great for his time. And that's what the Hall of Fame is.
And if he played with Bob Pettit, hold on, but if he played with Bob Pettit for that one year that he won a chip, he was coming off the bench that year.
Yes, he didn't play. He wasn't starting. He played behind Bob Pettit.
So his championship, not that it means less. I'm sorry, when you're not the guy on the team. So if you're coming off the bench, you're definitely not the guy. So the championship really means nothing that he won. Okay, 4 All NBA teams, cool. There was 80 players in the league at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and he was a top 10 player.
Right,
is a top 10 player out of 80. My math used to be so good when I was young. Now I need a calculator for everything.
I'm in the 90%. I'm in the 97. If it's 80 guys in the league,
the top 13%,
right,
are All NBA. 13% is a lot.
But you don't love that number, Tone. You want him in the top like 3%.
I want to know top 10.
Is that okay for that time?
I think you have to be top 10. But so that's what I'm saying is, so 4 times in his career he was a top 10 player. never led his team to a championship, never led the league in any statistical category, never won any other accolade. Nothing.
He was an all-star.
I don't think that's enough. Pro. Yeah, that's it. So I don't think that's.
He was an all-pro.
All-star and an all-pro. So that's great. He's a great player. That makes him a great player for his time. I don't think because Hall of Fame to me means you can be a great player for your time. Hall of Fame means you're great all-time. And that's not a great all-time player. If you've never led the league ever, you didn't win a championship, you never led a team, to a championship. Again, and I know I'm super hard.
Hell yes, Tone. I'm listening to this criteria and I'm like, God damn. So how many guys are in the Hall of Fame then? It sounds like of the 5,000 players. That's what I'm saying. Like the 5,000 players that played in the NBA since 1947, it's less than 100 guys.
Here, let me make it this. No, when I did the math, we said 5,000 players have played.
Right.
I think we said 30% were starters.
Okay.
And
so the 5,000 players that played, 30% were starters. So that's 5, 10. That's 100. That's 1,500 guys. Okay, that's 1,500 guys were starters.
Yeah, and the top 5% should be in the Hall of Fame. So that's about 75. So unless you're a top 75 player, you're not in the Hall of Fame.
Unbelievable! Wow. So
and he misses the cut by a lot.
That means we got to eliminate. That means that of the guys that are in the Hall of Fame. Because I think it's 100 overall. I think there's 166. So we got to cut half. We got to cut more than half. No, not half. We got to cut more than half of these guys.
All right, listen. Maybe the number is 100 at this point, and there'll be more. Like the number goes up as more people play. But yeah, I think if there was 100 people in the Hall of Fame, and again, that's the problem. The current Hall of Fame is Basketball Hall of Fame, so it makes sense that there's more, right? Because people who had great college careers, European careers, etc. Right, like Tony Kukoc, a prime example. Tony Kukoc 100% deserves to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. 0% should be in the NBA Hall of Fame.
Oh, sure, of course. Well, again, we've talked
about that's what I'm saying. Guys like that. That's what I'm saying. Guys like that would be out.
Right. Yeah. So if you think about the NBA, I mean, the pro basketball is the only one that doesn't have a pro basketball Hall of Fame. Everybody else, you got a pro football Hall of Fame. You got a,
but now we do. I forgot. My apologies. I forgot to. I put the link and I forgot to hit send. I'm sorry.
With the NBA, basketball is the only one that does not have a pro basketball Hall of Fame. There's a pro football Hall of Fame. There's a pro baseball Hall of Fame. And there's a pro hockey Hall of Fame. There's even a swimming Hall of Fame, right? So the fact that yes, it is 100% swimming Hall of Fame. So with that being said, the fact that if there's a pro basketball Hall of Fame, a lot of these guys who are in get eliminated based on their NBA careers.
Exactly. I think that would bring the number down. I think that would bring the number down to where I'm comfortable.
Because if you think about,
it's not all about me, but
I mean, don't get me wrong, Tone. We do have a college basketball Hall of Fame too, so we don't have to concern ourselves with your numbers in college because that's what the college basketball Hall of Fame is for.
Is there a European? Is there a European basketball Hall of Fame?
I don't think so. I think that the international player is in the Hall of Fame in the NBA, not the NBA, in the Basketball Hall of Fame, which is in America. I don't think there's an internet. So guys like Oscar Schmidt are in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Just guys like that, like Sarunas Marshalonis. Those guys are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, okay, now, that makes sense.
Now, don't get me wrong. You might be there might be a Hall of Fame for like a specific club.
Maybe why don't they do that? Oh my God! Maybe I just solved it. So we'll sponsor it, NBA, if you're listening. The Sports Fluent NBA Hall of Fame. It could be a wing on the Basketball Hall of Fame. We'll build a new wing, and just induct people based on their NBA careers, starting with the 5 that we're going to do tonight. Because I feel like Magic Johnson should not be in the same room as Bill Bradley.
I don't hate that.
I feel like Michael Jordan shouldn't be in the same room, no disrespect, as Tony Kukoc, as Vince Carter, as Tracy McGrady.
No.
They're not on the same level, but we have them on the same level. So you know what? Maybe it's not an extension. Maybe it's up a floor. I don't know. That's all.
Kind of like the pro football Hall of Fame where Deion Sanders talked about how there should be levels.
Yeah, you got to have a VIP room.
Yes, these guys. It's not just everybody, right? Deion Sanders is not the same cornerback as Darrelle Revis. He's not.
He's not.
He is not the same cornerback. And if Darrelle Revis is in the Hall of Fame, you are not on this tier as Deion Sanders. No, you're not.
Well, people make an argument about Darrelle Revis, but there's because there's a better example. Because Revis Island, blah blah blah. You'll get some younger kids who will say maybe, but yes, there's examples of guys who are like,
sure.
So
Warren Sapp is not in the same category with Aaron Donald. No, he isn't.
Well, Aaron Donald's not in there. Lawrence Taylor might be a good example. Actually, but then again, no one's on the same level as Lawrence Taylor.
Warren Sapp is not in the same category as a defensive player as Lawrence Taylor. No, he
Listen,
isn't.
You know what's going to happen. Eli Manning's going to go into the Hall of Fame.
He was not better than Dan Marino. He is not on that level as Dan Marino.
Room as Joe Montana and Tom Brady. He shouldn't be in that room.
The same room. And I love Eli Manning.
He shouldn't even be in the same room as his brother. But
he should not be in the same room. He should not. He doesn't get to sit at the same table as Dan Marino. No, he doesn't. He was not that good. He wasn't.
Hey, I gotta interrupt you because we have an exclusive, Greenleaf exclusive. That is.
What up?
Salute.
What up?
How's it going?
What's going on, fellas? Salute to the OGs on the panel, man. Salute to y'all.
What up?
What up, man? I'm gonna make it quick. Going off what y'all saying about the NBA league pros and cons first and foremost. The pros, I think it's good for the 1 or 2 year players to get some shine, come back into some action, get some reps up, actually display the things that they need to work on in the summer league and things like that. That's what it's for. You know what I'm saying? Guys coming to the league trying to earn a spot. That's what it's there for. You know what I'm saying? You get a glimpse of these guys. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The cons, I don't really have too much of a con on it. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure y'all have y'all cons, but I don't really see a big con from it because that's like contradicting what I just said in my first statement. So, Team USA.
I just don't think that. I just don't think that a guy who is a second-year player like Cam Whitmore, for example, you don't have to. You don't have to play the whole summer league. I ain't saying that, but I equate it to school. You got to get good grades. I ain't saying you got to come to class every day though. You don't have to do that, but I ain't saying that you can't come neither.
Hey, maybe if Ja was in summer league, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble.
Maybe. All right. Ja was already proven before that, but
he should have.
To the Cam Whitmore statement, I agree with that. But at the same time, like Cam Whitmore was a 20 pick, he don't really have a solidified roster spot. No, I have a Rockets channel, and guys won't.
I think it's deal time 3 years. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
3 years. Well,
3 years.
Well, he's coming to his second year.
With an op after 2, something like that. Especially because he's a late first round pick.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's a late first round pick, so he's trying to go out there and prove something.
Yes.
I do streams for the Rockets. You know what I'm saying, every day, all day, saying like, you know what I'm saying, trying to break down what's best for the team. And a lot of guys thinking that Cam Whitmore could be up next. He has Jalen Green. He has Jalen Green.
He has the potential.
The problem we have.
I mean, he has the potential, the highlight potentials, and a dog mentality. But the thing is, I don't think he presents the same value as far as like game wise. Because when I was looking at him, his first move wasn't his next move. Like chill, Fluent, y'all hoopers. Your first move, if you know you can get by somebody, go. I don't like all that dancing on in one spot and trying to figure something out. Now you're giving up the rock to reship and trying to make some things happen. I don't like that type. Facts.
It's a lot of wasted. It's a lot of wasted movements. I stole. I won't say learned. I stole. I used to watch a lot of Kobe. I don't know if you remember. He used to do his Spotlight series. I used to watch a lot of those, and I take that on to my kids that I coach. And I'm like, you guys are moving for no reason. Move with purpose, right? Don't waste your moves because all it does is get you tired. Right. And where I think you're right, where it might be a couple. You call it dancing. That's what I call it. It's wasted movements. You're right.
It's wasted movement.
And that's in my head because I always equate my one-on-one game like boxing. I'm setting you up. The one thing that I'm doing is I'm setting you up for the next thing. So I'm jabbing you, If you don't bite on this jab, I'm gonna keep popping you with it until you do something about it. I'm gonna keep. So if I can blow by you, I'm gonna keep doing it until you do something about it. Once you stop that, then I'm setting you up for the next thing that I'm doing. I'm setting you up for the cross. But if you don't stop this, if you don't stop my blow by move, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not thinking the next thing. Okay, I gotta counter. No, you got to stop this first. And I feel like a lot of these guys are in there. I feel like a lot of these guys are in their own heads. They're already anticipating that this guy is going to stop this. Make him stop it.
Right. That's what makes you a great, well, I wouldn't say great, but a good offensive player on the NBA level. That's what makes you a good player.
I know a guy who only used one move, but he scored over 38,000 points without one move.
Who's that, Fluent? Who's that?
Stop this and you stop me. That's Jabbar.
38,000 points making one move.
Stop this and you stop me.
Hey. And you know what I'm saying, let me keep it going forward. Reed Shepard, I want to talk about Reed Shepard. You know what I'm saying? Reed Shepard was a good asset, good pickup for this draft. You know what I'm saying? Being a number 3 pick for the Rockets. I was on the clinging, you know what I'm saying, train as far as like adding more defense to your roster when knowing that with this Houston Rockets roster, you know, nobody's going to be a starter right away. Yep. You know, you got to prove yourself. So I was on the clinging train, you know what I'm saying? Add more defense. You don't have to teach his defense and his presence. You know what I'm saying? But with Reed Shepard, I'm seeing some things, you know, as far as the offensive game, his point guard durability, his awareness, his IQ, and things like that. He's not just a shooter. He went 1 for 5 from the 3 last game, or 1 for 5 from the 3 last game, and I think he can, you know what I'm saying, get better at that as far as not just being predicated on as a shooter. But I want to check Chill Town real quick, man. Chill Town, you ready, man? I you know what I'm saying. You mentioned Jalen Green, right? I'm not saying you're a Jalen Green hater or nothing like that, but like I said, I do Rocket Strings. I always hear about Alper Sengun's, you know what I'm saying, upside, and he's this, and that in the 1 year under Ime Udoka. But when it comes to Jalen Green, it's like everybody ready to shift him off, and then everybody else the next man is ready to take his spot, a la Cam Whitmore. So that's why I mentioned Alper Sengun. He has flaws. He didn't come out and do no year 2 summer league
which he should have.
Play.
Which he should have. Which he
Jabari did it.
Which 100% Jabari did it. And to your point, talking about Reed Shepard, like how much better would Reed Shepard be if he had to go against Scoot Henderson in the summer league, right? If he had to go against guys like that playing
I think Scoot Henderson trash, so I think he'll cook Scoot Henderson.
Even still, and how much better would Scoot Henderson be if he had to go up against Reed Shepard? If he had to see a dude like that, knowing that this the kind of talent, in addition to having to see Shea and all of these dudes, I got to get better, right? So when I'm looking at Jalen Green and I'm looking at Sengun, so I'm on record saying that Jalen Green should have picked up the telephone, find out where Sengun is. Where he at? He in Turkey? I'm getting on the plane and I'm going to Turkey. Because me and him got to get on the same page. I got to figure out what his nuances is.
But Chill Town, can I put you on game real quick, OG? Sengun has the most assists to Jalen Green.
Right.
And the offense was, you know what I'm saying, predicated upon the, you know, Alper Sengun because Jalen Green was playing like shit in the first half of the season.
Right. And that was
so when you made Udoka, you're desperate. You're gonna go with winning. What gives you wins, you're gonna go with it, right? So what I'm saying is those 2 years prior, when Jalen Green was averaging 17 his rookie year, 22 his second year, under Steven Silas, under my bad.
No, you're right.
Bad
you was right. You was absolute. That word was absolutely
a bad organizational, you know what I'm saying? No identity, no structure, no discipline, and you know we call it empty stats. Cade Cunningham get his bag on the empty stats, right? So with Jalen Green, he's doing things that Ime Udoka told him to do in you know what I'm saying, when it started the season. It might have looked ugly, but I wasn't present saying Jalen Green needs to be traded. Jalen Green is a bum. No,
I wasn't doing things like that. No, I'm not doing that. I think the divide is because Jalen Green had Udoka when he got him, and now it's a transition period where, I'm used to doing things where, my mother ain't home, and I'm used to walking in and out of this bitch whenever I feel like it. I ain't got to do much. Now I actually got somebody in here where I got to be home at a certain time. I got to do homework, right? Mm-hmm. I got to dress a certain way. Now that's going to be an adjustment because I ain't used to that. And that's what Steven Silas was. I come in here whenever I feel like it. I walk in and out of here whenever I feel like I do whatever I want. Coach Udoka has him No, you're not going to walk in here whenever you feel like it. This is how you're going to conduct yourself. Well, damn, now I got to be a little bit different. So that 22 a game that you saw, now that's different because I got to change my game. I got to change how I'm conducting myself. And you saw what happened when we got later into the season when he started adjusting to that. When he put those demands on him and he started adjusting to that, I think that's a portion of what's to come. Now, I know that Sengun is a distributor. That's why I'm thinking if I'm Jaylen Green, I need to get with this dude because I need to understand how he plays. I need to understand how he plays, how I could play off of him. Not just how I could play off of him, how he could play off of me too. Because I feel like this Rockets team is on something.
I think it goes both ways. You know, if Jaylen Green on, LP, can you be a supplemental big man that we want you to be? You know, Jaylen Green, the same thing. You know, it's about them too because they still haven't extended these guys. I don't know why they are two young best core guys that we got in this young core 7. People on my channel call it Magnificent 7. So that's cool. So
they waiting a year for the salary cap, and that does make more sense.
That don't make no sense to me. You can get them on a cheaper deal right now if you sign them right now instead of waiting for them to go into restricted free agency as rookie deals. They can go out and the team say, "Hey, I'm gonna offer you 260. LP, I offer you 270." You think the Rockets gonna match both of those contracts, or is the setup for one of those guys to be out the door? That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe it could be. Maybe it very well could be. So,
but yeah, man, I don't want to hold y'all guys up, man. Salute to y'all.
Brother.
I'll be back soon. Salute.
Talk to you, my man. Absolutely.
Salute Fluent. Salute Chill.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. That was. I muted myself to do something, and I forgot to unmute myself.
Turn the mic on, Tone. What are you doing?
Were my lips moving when he was talking? Because I think a couple of times I said something and no one heard anything. It's interesting. Leaf, you're up next. But it is interesting because every time we were talking about this, this name kept popping into my head. And y'all are going to think I'm crazy. However, imagine there was a guy who was a great facilitator, a great defensive player, a above average height for a point guard who did everything well, except he really lacked the confidence in shooting, especially the long ball or taking shots in crunch time. Although we've seen him make it when he was working out alone and trying and practicing. Imagine if, and who didn't, we questioned his love for the game. Mm-hmm. Imagine if he was pushed to play Summer League for 2-3 years, forced to be in crucial situations where he had to take shots, make shots, shoot from the long range. He had like a mandate. You have to shoot 10 threes this game. If he would have fallen in love with the game or just quit all together. But I think the former versus the latter. Imagine if Ben Simmons would have been able to or forced to play in Summer League, built up his confidence because we know he can knock down those shots. Mm-hmm. What a difference player. It might have ended up the same. It might have.
I don't think so, Tone. I think it would have been different. I do.
I think it really would have built his confidence. Right. And we might have been looking at the player, right? The player we all thought he had the capability of being. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to put it out there.
I think it would have been different, Tone.
I think it would have been the exact same.
It might have been. It might have been the same.
It was Chill Town. Wasn't you the one that said you didn't see that willingness from him? Wasn't you the one that said you didn't see that willingness to get better? You didn't say that?
No, I did not say that. What I said was if I don't see him get better in year I was out. I did say that. I can't see the same guy. I can't see the same guy that I saw. And I feel like if he played in Summer League and you put him in situations and you put him in an environment like what you see in Vegas, where playing at the Thomas and Mack Center, there's 13,000 people here. There's 14,000 people here. This is very similar to an NBA game. I have to, as opposed to playing in, I don't know, I'm in Jersey in LA Fitness and I'm cracking threes and somebody got a phone. Well, that looks a lot different than me actually getting with the Brooklyn staff and them telling me what I need to do and how I need to conduct myself and how my game needs to get better. And I'm not doing that, and I'm not getting better playing in Phoenix or playing in Northern California
or going to work out every offseason in Miami.
I'm not doing
playing
that.
Pickup games in there.
And you know what I'm doing in Miami? If we being honest, you know what I'm really doing down here?
Nothing that relates to basketball.
Right. Let's be clear. I'm going to play pickup for maybe an hour. What am I really doing down here?
Everything that doesn't relate to basketball, right. but I ain't gonna get into that. But because
when the season starts,
you do see it when the season starts. I like to relate it to the lights is just much brighter because as you said, and as we all agreed, the lights is much brighter. Not just LA, not just in New York, but in the NBA season. And I like to get on to this because my name got dropped yesterday for something that I said on Saturday. Fluent. Can you tell me the similarities between Reece Sheppard, Dalton Knecht, and Cooper Flag?
They're all white.
And they all are from?
Where are they from? Are they from the East Coast or something?
No, they from America. They from here.
Oh, okay.
They from here. They're just I got some flack for basically saying out, and I'm gonna say it again. I said Reece Sheppard is basically going to be the next Jimmer for that. I said Dalton Knecht is going to be the next Adam Morrison, and I said Cooper Flag is going to be the next Keith Van Horn. So, he's shaking his head right now. And
of those three, I'd rather be
shaking his head right now, and he's get your hand off your face. Get your hand off your face. He's in disgust because I said that. Because the thing is, me and Fluent agree that history kind of repeats itself, does it not, Fluent?
History definitely does repeat itself. That is factual. Yes.
So if I'm at liberty to believe that that American born Caucasian players like Reece Sheppard, like Dalton Knecht,
why can't they be Larry Bird, Mark Price, and Keith Van Horn?
I'm glad you said that. You know what, bro? Said, why can't they be Larry Bird, Mark Price? I mean, Mark Price and Larry Bird might have been the best player of his decade. You know what I'm saying? That's totally out of the question. But my thing is that you ain't got to answer these questions, man. Like, listen, like, what do you want? You want Jerry West or you want Oscar Robertson? You want Bob Pettit or you want Bill Russell? You want Larry Bird or you want Jordan? You want Dirk Nowitzki or you want Kevin Garnett? You see where I'm going with this?
No, I don't.
No, you don't see where I'm going with this. The thing is, it's levels to this shit.
I'm taking Iguodala.
Yo, you out of line. The thing is that it's levels to this shit. Keith Van Horn figured out after the first. Just to let you know, in his first 3 years, Keith Van Horn was averaging 20 and 8. That's damn good, ain't it? That's good numbers.
That's why I said Keith Van Horn.
That's damn good numbers. But something happened. Something happened after that third year. Somehow, some way, he wasn't as good as he thought he was. Now was he, Chill? He wasn't as good as he was presumed to be, I guess. Now, and you would think as a number 2 pick, right behind, I don't know, somebody by the name of Tim Duncan. You would think off the rip, like after your first 3 years, all right, he's going on the up and up. He was averaging 19 and 8, 20 and 8, 19 and 8 again. I think another year he averaged 17 and 7, and then you started seeing the decline. The decline started it just started going like the volume on your TV. It started going down and down and down and down. And the thing is, what I realized about these players, in particular the 3 players that I named, I personally don't think it's going to be any different, just off the strength that what are parts of their game that can drastically improve that we haven't seen already, because we've seen these guys in college at some levels. You said you didn't think Reece Sheppard was capable of what he was doing. Newsflash, bro, Reece Sheppard, bro, was doing that at Kentucky. Mm-hmm. Dalton Knecht was doing what he was doing at Tennessee. Played 4 years. Cooper Flag at age 17 is about as good as a 16, 17-year-old can be, ain't he? He's phenomenal.
Yep.
What's going to happen when they get into the league? What's going to happen when they walk in front of you said there's a difference between playing in front of your peers and playing amongst your peers and then playing amongst NBA pros. You did say that on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, like, I need you to sell me how one of the 3 of these players are going to be Larry Bird or Mark Price.
Okay, first of all, you brought up Mark Price. You brought up Larry Bird.
Nah, Floyd brought that up, actually.
I brought with that being said, right? With that being said, First of all, Cooper Flagg is 17 years old. Not sure that he's done growing. I'm pretty sure that he's going to grow. He's actually a boy. He ain't even a man yet. So
not
he's
legally.
he's not even a man.
Yeah, not legally. Yeah,
right. He's still a boy. I don't think he even knows how to play. Not even at the pro level. He doesn't even know how to play.
Did you hear that, Josh Giddey? Stay away. Sorry, go ahead.
So would you say that's the difference right now between him and Dalton Knecht and Reed Sheppard? Because they had some significant time at the college level, and you can say they know how to play, right?
So Reed Sheppard, I mean, he comes from basketball royalty. He's got basketball in his blood, so he knows how to play the game. I initially didn't.
Is that Rex's kid?
No, that's actually Sheppard, Final Four MVP when Kentucky won the championship in '98.
Not Rex Chapman. Oh, that's wasn't it Rex Chapman? That's his kid. No, wait, that's
not Rex Chapman, not Rex Chapman, but
I didn't say Rex Chapman. I said Sheppard.
Yes, Sheppard that played for Kentucky.
Rex Sheppard that played with Kentucky in '98.
Yeah, in '98. Not Rex. That's not his name.
It wasn't Rex.
No,
what's his
not
name?
Rex.
He was at that summer league.
It's Jeff. It's Jeff Sheppard.
Jeff Sheppard. Oh,
yeah, Jeff Sheppard.
It is.
That's his
I
boy.
remember him.
Shep was there that summer when I was there with Delk and your boy Roderick and those guys. He was there.
Tony Delk was on that team, man. Oh
no,
yeah.
Tony Delk was on the team in '96.
Before that,
in '98, his team won the championship, and he was the Final Four MVP. And by the way, his mother played basketball.
in '94, and Delk left the year at 95, 96.
Yeah, Delk left in '96. Right.
Why did I say Rex Sheppard? Yeah. Oh, whatever.
So his mother played basketball at Kentucky too. So it's in his blood, right? So we're talking about a kid who knows how to play, who was raised how to play basketball. And the one thing that I see from him more than anything, and I wasn't high on Reed Sheppard because he kind of gives me a Tyler Hero vibe. Except the better shooter.
Wow.
He kind of gives me that. And I like Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero could be one of the best rotation players in the game. But with that being said, the confidence that he has, more than anything, his confidence that, amongst these guys,
against his peers, definitely.
Amongst these guys. Now, when he gets to the next level in the NBA, I'm sure early he's going to get his ass kicked because that's just part of it.
Sure.
But him learning the game, him understanding the game, I don't think that that's going to shake his confidence because being in Houston, at some point, they're going to have to play him. And
your memory,
I would agree with you with that.
Your memory is like ridiculous, by the way. A guy I actually played with, and I can't remember his name, and you remember his name because yes, you're 100% right. It is Jeff. I think that's your memory is ridiculous. I want to just make sure be aware of time, because at 10 o'clock, historians. Top 10 Hall of Fame all time. So Leaf.
I'm gonna try not to take up too much of your time, but go ahead.
One last point you can make, and then you're gonna bounce.
Well. My thing is listen. If I'm being honest, man, because I'm always.
And what happened Saturday? Why are you so upset? Was there something Saturday?
Well, my name got dropped yesterday, and sort of a light that it was like, Leaf is not the '80s anymore. Mind you, I'm born in 1988. And in the 80s, Larry Bird was arguably the best player of that decade. Man, I understand that. That's probably the last time an American-born Caucasian player was the best player of the decade. But like the last time that we remember. Any time since that, I mean, you had, maybe John Stockton was a top 10 player of the 90s. Any other American player after that, American-born Caucasian player after that.
In 2000, you got guys like Brad Miller and Keith Van Horn. These are the guys that you have in the
John 2000s. Stockton was still playing.
He was over.
John Stockton. Come on, come on, Floyd.
Jason Kidd, kinda.
No,
Jason Kidd, but no, we're not throwing
100%. 100%. The NBA. This is necessary. I won't argue. This is 100% is
for sales. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned how it's necessary for the people that most of the fan bases that's sitting in them seats.
Tone in Toronto, in the Raptors arena. How many of people who look like me are there?
No, that's the wrong one to use. Because Toronto, as you know, is the most multicultural city in the world, right. and it's actually more swayed.
What about Denver?
So what about in Indiana?
Yeah, that's a better example.
Indiana, Utah, Boston, Portland. It's a significant amount of teams, but I will say this: The highest I see them becoming is probably role players. I'm thinking Kyle Korver, JJ Redick. They're probably going to become specialists most of, if not all of their career. And that probably includes Cooper. Cooper Flag is the only person that has star potential, but sometimes that could get the better of you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that could overwhelm a young prospect like
we
that.
will have to wait and see. But until next week.
Rain dance.
That's one of my favorite movies. That's one of my favorite movies.
T, come on.
Time out. Oh, all right. So head on over to the Hoopstorians right now. Hall of Fame.
Before we go, we got a super chat.
Oh, we
do have a super chat before we go.
My bad. I know Halliburton is taller, yeah. And better fit for Team USA. I still want Brunson to get his run back for FIBA. Yeah, he was another one. Jaylen Brown and Brunson, the two Jaylens. Those were the two that surprised me that weren't on the original Team USA roster. Was Brunson and Brown. So I agree with you. And it's not like he didn't play well. He absolutely. I agree 100%. I agree with you, Rhodes. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thanks for pointing it out, Jay, because I didn't see it. Adrian, how do I feel about Caleb? I'm going to ride or die with my Bears, so I feel great. They signed him they got him signed. He's there. Nice guarantee. Bear down. Fingers crossed. Bear down. That's my new thing with the Bears. Bear down, fingers crossed, toes crossed.
All of them.
Let's go. All right, check out the Hoopstorians. It's your turn.
Good to see you guys. You know where to find us at. You know when we're here, Tuesday nights, me and my man Tony Tone. We will see you soon, but until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. We'll see you soon, but until then, take it light, but take it.